Good evening, everybody. I am the Reverend Father Paxton Chance, leading founder of the Hopeshine Church of Polyspiritualism, and I am here to talk to you today. First things first, I would like to apologize for having been gone for so long. I know it's been a hot minute there. I think a lot of the reason why I've been gone is I've just been struggling with not really knowing how to reach people, how to put together exactly how I want to word what's inside of my heart, what I want to share with everybody. But I felt that it was time, even if I feel completely all over the place and I don't have anything set, organized in my brain, but I figured I'd just touch bases with everybody and just see where it goes. So here it goes. You know, I've been thinking a lot lately about things like acceptance and compassion and understanding, and admittedly I've felt a bit disheartened by the state of the world, state of things lately. Seeing the way that other people treat other people, it's been exhausting for me. It's been difficult. Breaks my heart. Especially in this day and age, the whole idea of anti-religion and how much hate and misunderstanding and judgment there is when it comes to people's religions and how other people treat other people who are religious. I think that there's a lot of hypocrisy and judgment and misunderstanding. It's become an even hotter topic than politics are, if that's saying anything. And I think it's sad, and I'm struggling to figure out a way to bring something that means so much back into the world. I think now more than ever the world needs a more spiritual connection, a more loving and accepting environment and attitude and just way of being with each other. You know, I've never understood why there's so much discontent, so much argument, so much hate, even in a way. So much separation from each other, just based off of the fact that a certain person considers themselves a certain religion or follows a certain church or worships a certain deity or god or none at all. And it's sad, because by the polyspiritual way of thinking, it's all going to the same place. They're all the same gods. They're all teaching, for the most part, the same good values, the same way of light and purity and goodness and brotherhood and sisterhood and compassion, humility, charity, honesty, love. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what church you go to. It doesn't matter what God, what name of God you pray to, if you pray to any God. It's all the same. It's a joining together of like-minded people with love and compassion and understanding in their hearts. And isn't that what it's all about? Isn't that what's most important? It's these lessons, it's these morals, these values, these beautiful ideas of beautiful souls, sweet souls, loving each other, helping each other, understanding and supporting and comforting, being a good neighbor, being a good brother, a good wife, a good husband, a good person. What else does any of the rest matter? As long as you feel love in your heart and goodness, that strive for goodness in your heart. And it really saddens me that most of the places where you find these teachings, the places that want to promote all of these things are within the different churches, within the different religions, and yet they preach all of this, and then at the end of the day, they're going to go hating on or judging or telling other people who are trying to promote the same values, the same acceptance and love and compassion for their fellow human being, telling them they're all wrong just because they don't believe that Jesus was the Son of God, or because they don't believe in God at all, or because they call him Buddha or Lucifer or the green witches, the green man out in nature. It's disgusting. It's stupid. Why can't we all just join together and unite in spirit under the idea of all of the commonalities instead of all of the differences? Because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what language or what words you're using in prayer. It doesn't matter what holy sacraments you take or utilize. It doesn't matter what prayers you utter to what name of whatever God, if any God. All that matters is what's in your heart, what you're trying to promote, which is love, which is humility, which is compassion, which is goodness. Those are the things that matters. Nothing else matters. And it's such a difficult time right now in this day and age, the state of the world especially, where religion has become a bad word. So much so that I just saw recently Facebook is now going to be taking away that option in their About section. They're no longer going to be offering you a chance to state which religion you are. And I think that's sad. I think that's very sad. It's such a deep part of a person, their spirituality, their sense of spirituality. It's their soul, it's their drive, and it's sad that there's so much discontent and so much misunderstanding and inability to work together and to just understand each other and to just live and let live. And that there's so much discontent about it that now it's a bad word. Facebook's no longer going to be allowing you to even say what religion you are. I also find it sad that there are so many other communities as well, downtrodden communities, struggling. For example, the LGBTQ community, and Lord knows they have had their struggles, and especially in more recent years. And of course I understand that they would be scared, angry, threatened, especially against the more traditional churches, who their whole idea is supposed to be love and acceptance. Isn't that what Jesus taught, was to love, to forgive, to understand, and to accept we're all together Yet, these people use their religions to hate, to discount, to do the complete opposite of acceptance, to completely reject people, to completely reject the validity of these people as fellow human beings, fellow souls here on earth with them, who are all driven to the same purpose. We all only want the same thing. We all just want to be accepted. We all just want to be loved. We all just want to be treated kindly and with basic human respect and dignity. What I don't understand is, why do people seem to think that doing this, giving this to others, takes anything away from them? Especially something that their own religions actually promote: love, acceptance, kindness, charity, goodness. What should it matter, all of these details? Why do people let it matter? You know, one Bible verse says this, which contradicts another Bible verse, which says another thing. But at the end of the day, you know, people need to figure out the fact that certain things trump other things. You know, and depending on how often something is mentioned in the Bible. I personally see this all of the time. I'm sure a lot of people do as well, where Christians in particular, they'll jump in regards to how the Bible says that it's sinful. It's sinful for a man to lay with another man. Being gay is a sin, according to what the Bible says. But for anybody who's actually read the Bible and scoured through the Bible, it's actually very difficult to find anything that backs up this claim. And when you want to talk in regards to what trumps something else, I think maybe there's one, maybe two entire lines in regards to sodomy being a sin, specifically sodomy. Whereas there's dozens upon dozens of verses about loving thy neighbor and treating each other kindly, and judge not lest ye be judged, and treat others the way that you want to be treated, and show compassion, show love, show mercy. And of course I'm the one that gets into those threads, and I put in all of those Bible verses, and usually the people that posted the initial comment has nothing to say back to that. But that's the whole point. It's like a lot of the tensions in religions arise, I think, between, you know, what name anybody not following their particular line of thought. You know, the Hindus, for example, you know, I have a idol of the Lord Ganesh over there. That would be considered a false idol. That would make me a sinner in the eyes of the Catholic Church. Meanwhile, they can have plenty of statues of the Virgin Mary or Jesus on the cross. That's all fine. But at the end of the day, what is it hurting anybody? And why should it matter if somebody in India sits down to pray in front of a statue of an elephant god, or Krishna, or Buddha, or Allah, or anybody? It doesn't matter. Compared to somebody sitting down in a church in front of the Blessed Virgin. It's not hurting anybody. Despite what certain commandment says in the Bible. And that's another thing that bothers me too, is so many people give so much validity to the Bible. And what so many people don't realize is that depending on which church you go to, depending on which pastor you have, it's all up to interpretation. And most churches perpetuate certain interpretations of the Bible based off of what their pastor feels is appropriate. There's nothing wrong with that, but at the same time, it's subjective and it's interpretive. It's not that this one person, this one pastor, or this one minister knows absolutely 100% perfect. That's exactly it, and everybody else in the world is wrong. Every other preacher in the world is wrong. Another interesting fact, too, is, that the Word of God, if the scrolls were something that were penned, that, messages from on high, which we'll suspend disbelief for a moment about that. Let's say that, God did speak to his angels or to his prophets or through his disciples, delivered his word on earth. These words have been translated so many times into so many different languages. They've been through the hands of men for centuries. Back in the olden days, when the church, the Christian church ruled the world, most of it, they believed that the kings and queens of the time were ordained by God. Therefore, these kings and queens were given the right to omit things from the Bible, to add things to the Bible. The Bible that we read now is completely different than the original scripts. I mean, it's even been proven that there have been whole chapters completely taken away out of the Bible. Right down the, passages. For example, it has been proven that Jesus spoke of reincarnation in the Bible, but that was omitted because they didn't want that in there, because that was promoting different ideas and they were trying to move the church in a different direction. The whole thing about divorce in the Bible, that was something that King Henry himself had removed from the Bible and made a workaround for, because, we all know the story of King Henry. So, to put so much into it, to the point where wars have been fought, genocides have been raged over little nitpicky details of things that may or may not even have been authentic. They may have been added by King Constantine or King Henry or the New King James Version. That's terrifying. That's terrifying. When at the end of the day, you got to look at the similarities of the good. Being a proponent of good. Take the good moral lessons out of it. The kindness, the charity, the acceptance, the love, being good, doing good work, having compassion for your fellow man. That's all that should matter. And I think this is the reason why, a lot of people are ashamed. I was ashamed. I've been very spiritual my whole life. But up until very recently, it's not something that I felt comfortable admitting to. It's to the point where, coming out as a certain spirituality or a certain religion is almost the same as coming out a certain sexuality or gender, but you're less well received that way. There has been a lot of interest in this church. People stop me on the street and I'll have whole long conversations with them. But when it comes time to them coming back to the channel or commenting on the Facebook page or interacting in any way, sharing it with other people, talking to other people about it, nothing happens. The word doesn't get spread, and it doesn't get spread because at the end of the day, people are afraid of being judged. People are afraid of being misunderstood. People are afraid of being laughed at, or worse, hated. Or seen as somebody who, because you are religious, all of a sudden you're the enemy to, the equal rights movements. Because who hates the LGBTQ community? Who hates, you know, the whole abortion issue more than the Christian community? But, you know, you come out as any sort of religion and you're going to get backlash for whatever reasons. It leaves a bad taste in people's mouths now, and I'd like to change that. I think that's so sad. And I think that if people had a church that they were not ashamed of, I think that that could be very important. I think that that could be life-altering, societal changing even, you know, to have a bunch of people secure enough in themselves on the side of goodness. I'm not going to say on the side of right, because that's not the appropriate term. It's the side of goodness, the side of acceptance, because that's what we need more than ever in this day and age, and in this tense, stressful atmosphere of people at each other's throats, brothers turning on brothers just because he voted for the wrong candidate or voted against, you know, on a certain issue. And people take things so seriously and so personally as well. You know, I myself am a member of the LGBTQ community, and well, I will say I identify as somewhere within that range. I'm not necessarily part of the community because there's too much stress and discontent and everything there right now. But, you know, I noticed a lot of people within the community when I was more active in it, you know, they turned on their brothers, their mothers, disowned children, you know, because they voted against a certain issue that pertained to the community, and they would take it so personally. And, you know, yes, that is sad that their family members would vote against them having rights for this or that or another thing. But at the same time, why let all of this fighting get in the way of your family, your friends? I mean, it's sad. It's been very sad. It's been very tricky. I don't have any of the answers to it. All I know is that it disheartens me to the point where, you know, it's driven me into depression at times, and I've had to step away. Because I don't understand why people can't just accept one another, and it's not like giving rights to somebody else or respect to somebody else is taking anything away from you. It doesn't. It doesn't. And at the end of the day, you know, showing respect and being kind, that is a reflection on you. It's not a reflection on them or whether or not they deserve it or you think they deserve it. But it's a reflection on you and what kind of a person you are. You show respect and you show kindness just for yourself. It reflects on what kind of a person you are. And that you're able to rise above everything else and stay true to yourself. And that's what's important at the end of the day. So, I'm sorry this has been such a long video. I am going to try to wrap up now. I always feel a bit awkward with the closings here, because I haven't gotten into the routine of it yet, I guess. But I guess, as always, please like and follow and share. At the very least, share. Please share. Try to share these videos. Try to share the page. Try to talk about it. You know, get some conversation going. I really, really do pray that soon, you know, there will be enough of a community built up, enough of an interest voiced publicly about the church, so that I'll be able to do some live videos where we can all interact together at the same time and have a discussion together, as opposed to me just sitting here talking at you from behind a camera. I really, really would like to get everybody involved and part of this. I think that that would be a wonderful way to get moving and, you know, just get a community built up together and like-minded ideas. And anyway, please share, talk, comment. Please don't be afraid to comment. Ask questions as well. I'm always open to answering questions. If anything, that also helps me know what to do for a next video. You know, I'd like to know what you guys want to hear about, what questions you guys might have in regards to the church, or what issues you would like to hear discussed, or would like to discuss yourself live with me. That would be awesome. Also, you know, there's the Facebook page. It's just Hopeshine Church. You can search it on Facebook. And also, as always, because this is just me by myself right now, I'm trying to build something, and unfortunately that does take money. So if this is anything that you can afford or resonates within you, and you know, I'm working towards trying to get the church legally registered, and you know, unfortunately that takes some money. I'd also like to work on some advertisement and getting the word out, and I would love to be able to like print out little pamphlets that I'd be able to send to people for welcome packages and stuff like that. Not to mention, you know, some better software for, you know, editing. These videos, I'm sure, are terrible. But anyway, just all the little things that add up and could really help a lot to get this going. And, you know, I am grateful for anything that you're willing to give, whether that be a little donation or a share or a subscription. But, you know, hit that subscription button, you know, or even just discussing it amongst your friends and or your family, you know, getting the word out there, helping me get the word out there, sharing this idea. And my cat Heathcliff is telling me that it is time for dinner, so I will end there, and I will try not to be gone for quite so long next time. So in the meantime, God bless, and hope to see you again soon.